All right, we bike. I got the big homie. I got the hip hop big homie. Strong arm, steady cruise, William Blast. I told you, bro, I'm not gonna just call you William Blast. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
put the
yeah, yeah.
whole motherfucking moniker in front of your shit.
That's what's up. Peace, everybody. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
yeah, yeah. Anytime, always, always. All right. I'll save my questions for later. I want to get your take on Drake, Kendrick. You being a West Coast veteran, how did you see it? How do you see it? Where do you see it going from here on out, as far as
I
hip hop?
as far as hip hop, well, yeah, let's address it that way. I think for hip hop, it was a good thing. Like even despite whatever shooting that occurred or something, I don't think that was related to the battle at all, honestly. And so, yeah, I think it was good competition. I think it was good, exercise of, of the art in the sense of trying to be lyrical and go in depth and all that. So you have to have a focus on a topic, all those kind of things. So I think from the artist perspective, it was a good thing. And then you had two, upper echelon artists doing it, so it wasn't like someone whose artist you hadn't appreciated already. So you were just seeing them in a different context now versus making songs versus like back and forth. But as far as getting to a winner, yeah, I think it's clear cut. The Not Like Us kind of shut it down. As far as I want to touch on this part of it too.
Yeah.
In battle rap and in battling, most of the time, the is not an it is emphasized. The beat really doesn't matter. It's like it's just an undertone so that the MC has timing to deliver his punchlines. And
Okay.
so versus Kendrick made a joint that you could actually diddy bop, diddy pop to, and he was talking shit. That changes the whole element of the battle because like here in LA, when I'm just driving around the street every day, I hear that shit 17 times a day, maybe 25 times a
Same
day.
up
You
here,
know what I mean?
man. Same. I just be like,
And
God damn.
so that's what I mean by where, a lot of times the battle record doesn't transfer to being on the street really, really bubbling and buzzing in the car. And you know what I mean? Everybody turning up to it that way, where he accomplished both sides of it with it. And I think that was really, going forward, I think more battles or the future battles, they'll be picking certain kind of beats because they want to make sure that it rocks. You know what I'm saying? Versus just trying to say some hot lines. You know what I mean? I think that
Okay.
gets convoluted in battling.
I'm glad you said that. So I guess my next question would be: should the next crop of MCs focus on a record that can play in the clubs, in the streets, as opposed to you can still get the lyrical miracle thing going, but if you turn into a dance record that has a longer shelf life, you know what I'm saying? Like as great as a record as Ether was, it doesn't get nowhere near the spins that Hit 'Em Up does. Because I still hear Hit 'Em Up to this day. What do you say to that? Oh, oh shit! Damn it! I think I lost him. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Technical difficulties. White man won't let us be great. Oh. So thank y'all for joining us as the big homie gets the technical issues worked out. We're just talking a little hip hop. I still got Fatal J later on tonight. We're gonna talk about this Yasuke thing. I got Red Means the Blues. He shall not no longer be called Red Sings the Blues. He is forever known now as Red Means the Blues. Ah, damn. Man, he was just cooking too. Hopefully he can get the issues worked out. He'll be back. He'll be back. So with that being said, thank y'all for coming through. Just gonna talk a little hip hop. That's all. There we go. Uh oh. Uh oh. Will. Uh oh.
Switch to my phone. Same thing last time in the middle of the fucking interview.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you like this.
Okay, we'll take that out. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, crystal, crystal.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. 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 Sorry about that. I was on the
No,
computer, but I don't know what happened.
no, you grinded. It's L.A. Cats. I know what it's like. I know what it's like. No,
um,
what I wanted to ask you was, so the next wave of MCs, young MCs, use the strategy of turning the disc record into a club record. And I gave reference to, a lot of us consider Ether is probably one of the greatest disc records, but it doesn't get the spins that say a Hit 'Em Up does. So do you think that could be an integral part of getting victory, having a disc record that plays in the clubs as well as in the streets as well?
yeah, like yeah, that's where I froze at. Questlove, he dissed Hit Him Up recently. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, like, I was like, "Are you crazy?" Like, he was like, it was like R&B music or something in a battle, and I was like, "Nigga, the beat is nigga." We was all like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
Yeah.
that made it more turned up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. The focus on lyricism, that's cool. Like you wanna snap, you wanna have all the bars in the world to tear him apart. But like I'm saying, to make it an anthem for everybody, that beat needs to slap.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I hope that's what future artists are studying or how they're looking at it for the attack when they go on the attack. That yeah, I'm gonna make sure the beat is just as fire as my lyrics.
Okay. Let me ask you this: of all the disc records you've ever heard, I'm sure you heard records I've never heard. Um, did it go too far this time? And why I'm
No,
asking,
no, no,
okay,
no. I thought this was this like that's the difference in this one where no one is looking at it like it was going to turn into more than what was on the record.
right?
You know what I mean? So it was one of the safest battles that's ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So the most other battles, like okay, like I'm not trying to get in here dissing, but people go take it a certain way. Like Beanie Siegel versus Jadakiss, man, look here. I've never seen a motherfucker get their asshole torn out like I saw Beanie Siegel tear out Jadakiss live in Philly, live in a
I
couple
remember
places.
that.
Oh my God,
I remember
brother!
that.
But
Yeah.
but but those situations were dangerous. Those situations came with you. Anything could happen because of what was going on, and
Mm.
so a different level of brevity where this was much lighter. It didn't have the same danger to it. It was just more for like ego and popularity in that sense, but not for the street danger of it. So it, it was different in this. Same. It was more, I guess, like a Jay-Z Nas type of battle because you didn't think that was gonna spill into the streets or nothing like that. That was just you know what I mean, nigga. I'm better than you. You know what I mean, and let's see who the best on a over a beat and that's kind of what this was too.
Okay, let me throw you a curveball. The reason why I
Okay.
asked, well, the reason why I asked did it go too far, is basically we're dancing to a record where a man is being accused of
Of
crimes against a
pedophilia.
child. Yes. Because we like paperwork, and being a man of color, having those charges thrown at you, just even in casual talk, could be detrimental to the person or to the person levying those charges. That's why I asked, did this go just a tad bit too far?
I mean, when Cube is dissing, NWA, you know what I mean? Like calling me Arnold, you Benedict, easy your ass, you know what I mean? It went in it quick, you know what I mean? So like, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody fucking me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all those insinuations, you know what I mean, towards Dre and them, I'm just saying, like, if Dre has always had to wear a homocentric jacket or that there was some questions, you know what I mean, always circling it, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, like that's part of that's part of sparring or part of the battle or part of putting yourself out here. Like people know got some of your, know some of your skeletons, and they can come out,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the battle. And so I don't. It's no rules to that, bro. You know what I mean? Once, especially he doubled down, went back to back with tracks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once you double down, like, nigga,
Yeah.
everything is fair. It's all fair in
Yeah.
this right now. Like what you said, I'm going for the win. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, nah, he had to eat that, and he definitely, like I said, with his last his last record was like a eulogy. Like when you listen to the last, like, you know what I mean, 45 seconds of it, it's like a defeated motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he asked for it, and I'm like, don't tap out now. Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. But he got to tap out right then, because now everything is at stake. And so,
mhm.
you know what I mean? Let's okay. I've gone as far as I want to go with this. Like,
Right.
let's, you know what I mean? Let me definitely tap out and ease the pain.
Okay, let me ask you, what does this do moving forward for both of their careers? If you had to take a 5 year window, 5 years from now, I think that this doesn't hurt Drake. In fact, I think this only enhances Drake because now he's been battle hardened, he's been battle tested, he's legit in some people's eyes. It's like the white boy that grew up in the hood, you know, and
I
he
understand.
yeah. So do you see it that way for Drake? And then what do you see for Kendrick also moving forward because of this?
I look at it a lot differently than how you even are expressing it,
Okay.
because they're both senior artists.
Okay.
You know what I mean? These not young cats. Coming up, they really have already reached their zenith. You know what I
Okay.
mean? To me, and so they're both on the decline. This was a way to keep them in the, what I mean, stratosphere, and maintain status.
Okay.
In that sense, but as far as moving forward, I mean, they're both capable of still putting out successful projects, but at the same time, um, neither of them are driving the culture.
Who is driving the culture right now in your eyes?
Uh, I mean, Future is still the king until dethroned to me.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that when he puts out quality records, they are what's driving everybody when they want to party or turn up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He stays at the forefront of the culture with that. Um, there's obviously some other younger ones or whatever, where we just had a Detroit wave that was going crazy for a minute. Hard for me to name all those
Oh, the T
all
Grizzlies and those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a couple of them. They had those little offbeat styles
Okay.
doing it, and so that's kind of the next wave. That's where, like, it's a new group out here that I keep talking about, Blue Bloods Clan. Now,
Okay.
and when I go through their comments, everybody's like, "Man, they rap so offbeat and everything like that." That's the wave, though. They not understand, like, you know what I mean. They be behind the wave of what's coming. That's what I'm saying. The Detroit run and everything, like these waves, they are what set what the trend, how the trend is moving. And so if you don't catch on to how that wave went, then you miss where the trend is, because the trend is still going to go to different markets. Even
Okay.
like if Detroit spin it out, then Detroit gonna spin it out with Oakland. They gonna spin it out with St. Louis. They gonna spin it out with certain cities, and then they got that same little juke too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And then so when Atlanta spin it out, and they spin it out with Memphis, and they spin it out with Miami, they got the same little juke that they on. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's waves of the shit, and you gotta find when that wave is going. That wave is gonna lead you to the entire, to the center. You know what I mean? To
Okay.
where this is what's driving it. You know what I mean? Right here, it's either a wave of, how they dress and how the hair, how the whole, it's a whole wave, and
Mm-hmm.
that it's not just the music to me. That's why when they talk about the culture, it's all one. It's hard to separate them. Where, you know what I mean? Because that's where the big beards and the whole, we're in a certain era where when it was 80s and 90s, you never see none of
Nothing
these
there with no.
beards. You know what I mean? They didn't
None of that
exist.
shit. None of that shit.
So that's what I'm saying. It's eras and times, and if you understand, you know what I mean, eras and times, then, and that's what I'm saying. Where those two artists, Drake and Kendrick, are still pinnacle artists, but they're not driving the culture though like that.
Okay. Do you think if you're a manager, A&R, label head, do you think artists like Drake and Kendrick that may be on the decline of stellar careers, do you think they should do a beef? Should they engage in a beef record?
Well, again, okay, let's look at it from a different way. Let's look at it from a marketing department.
Okay.
And so I need to get all eyeballs on you.
Yeah.
I need to get your uh online traction, your all engagement. I need to increase it fivefold so that we can release another project on you to generate the kind of revenue we're trying to generate.
Right.
So how do I stimulate the market and get your name at such a fever pitch on it that it's going to do revenue no matter what you do?
Mm-hmm.
So what haven't you done? You haven't beefed. And so yeah, let's try that. Again, no danger. There's no entourages. There's no, you know what I mean? I know the thing at Drake's house, but I just don't think that was related. I think that was isolated or something else situation. I don't think it was related to the battle per
Right.
se or anything. Um, so yeah, I just think from a marketing perspective, like if I'm in that marketing department or whatever, then I'm probably pushing it too because again, how do I get all again Tupac, all eyes on me, and so this made it where again, okay, let me take it a different way. You know, JCI might want to pick me up and body slam me, you know, or whatever, but he really had no reason to throw a song out here other than wanting to generate relevance for himself because
Okay.
you know what I mean. Him at Rick Ross, sure. Again, calling him Officer Ricky. How many? How long have we all? Like what? Like it was him and Drake. Like I didn't see the relevance. So he's put out a record and nobody has talked about it. To me, that's worse.
Okay. Here's my pushback to what you just said. Had MC Shan had that same thought towards KRS-One, there's no KRS-One, there's no The Bridge Is Over, there's no BDP. MC
No,
Shan
no,
probably.
but
Go ahead.
the battle was between again KRS versus Shan. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Hey, hey, like this is between me and you, and I'm gonna shut you down and let you know why I'm the dopest MC. And he gave that over. You talking to my 10th grade year, the anthem of my life. You know what I mean? At the
Talk
end of the
that
day,
shit. Okay.
BDP. That's what I'm trying to say. Like so, that's what I'm saying. Where it ain't nothing slaying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slaying that in the sense of killing. That's what I'm trying to say. MC Shan career was over. Period. It never recovered. Never. 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 MC Shan, I don't care if the president of the United States and everybody vouched for him, he couldn't sell 10,000 records ever in the world. Ever in the world. So I'm trying to tell you,
Yeah.
because of KRS, because the bridge is over was the greatest shit in the world, east to west. So from a marketing standpoint, again, or from a game perspective, I'm just saying from JCI from game. Like I would love for him to be able to reignite something, but this is what I mean by where Drake and Kendrick are at a pinnacle level. They haven't fallen off or anything like that. They're in a sacred space in hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in that sacred space to enter battle domes and anything like that. He has to kind of almost reinvent or do something else to get a new narrative for himself before he interjects back into the paradigm. Where Rick Ross could take those shots because he caught a shot from Drake on a record. So it was okay for him. Game didn't have any any relevance in any of it. And so, speaking from a West Coast nigga, that's all I'm saying. Where it's like, bro, why'd you pick a record? You know what I mean? Like you didn't really have to. Like it's unnecessary.
So would beef records have to be strategic then? If I'm hearing what you.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. You know what I mean. And again, like your status, how people feel about you. How you know what I mean? Like your buzz in the street, that has an impact on it too. Like, you know what I mean? You don't put a record out and nobody listen to it. Like that says a whole lot.
Right. Okay.
Because everyone talked about each record drop from Drake and from Kendrick. Analysis, 55 channels are analyzing
Yeah.
every bar, every bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Where, and even Rick Ross, that's what I'm saying. His song got a little traction. Not a lot, but it got enough traction where people mentioned it. Where that's what I'm saying. For my guy, it didn't get any traction, and that's not a good look for it in that sense.
Okay. Um, all the greatest beef records, for the most part, came out when hip hop was always on top, or the apex musical genre. This
Okay.
beef seems to come out now when hip hop is not the darling favorite of Billboard per se.
Mm-hmm.
Downturn. Um, does this make hip hop relevant, or this is just it just reminds everybody, okay, it's not dead. Okay, and does everybody go back to sleep on hip hop?
I've always made a correlation between sports and hip hop,
Okay.
and so this is very akin to the NBA creating the in season tournament.
Hmm.
You understand?
Yeah.
They needed a way to drive up. We need to drive some focus towards this shit. How do we get, you know what I mean? And so when you got an industry that's struggling to get eyeballs or attention, you have to drum up ways to try to increase, attention. And that's what these are. This is purely a market. Like, to put it all on hip hop. Hip hop participated, meaning the hip hop community participated in analyzing and enjoying the entertainment of the back and forth. So we all were audience to them, you know what I mean, at that point. So that's what made it something, to talk about, something of interest, and something relevant for hip hop. But outside of the hip hop community, I don't think it really has much relevance like that.
Okay. I wholly agree. Um. Ooh. Okay. Is it problematic that I don't know. Here's my thing. I remember I was listening to Hit 'Em Up the other day, and I was reminded of just how utterly disrespectful the record was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, it was almost like, nah, you doing too much, Pac. Like, you take that shit off. Go back in there, re-edit, retouch.
Nah, not Pac. Not Pac. He not
Right.
re-editing shit. You know what
So
I mean? You get
I know you answered it before. And I watch battle rap, and battle rap, oh my God, they talk about the kids, the mamas, dead homies, everybody can get it. But was that always the battle culture in hip hop from your time? Was it always the level of disrespect? Like, okay, you going to hell, I go to Hades. Like,
No, okay, what you're talking about, yeah, no. See, because in the battle perspective, it became where everybody was looking for this moment.
yeah,
You understand? Okay, I'm gonna take you back to Eminem battle against the West Coast and the Project Blow and Freestyle Fellowship guys.
okay,
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this. This was at this club out here in like El Segundo by the airport called the Proud Bird. Okay, and so if Eminem ever get a bar of this or anything, he know I'm not lying. And so anyway, this is the thing of, like, when you pick on kids and stuff like that. Like, a lot of times there's one kid, the fat kid, he didn't heard fat jokes so much, it bounced off of him, and he's, you know what I mean. But then when he starts attacking you, you know what I mean, you take the shit ultra personal, you know what I'm saying, like, but you've been attacking him the whole time, you
yeah,
know what I mean. But it's just because he attacked you now, you know what I mean, on some shit that you really didn't want nobody to look at, and now you feeling fucked up about it. And so, same thing. Like, I watched the Project Blow dudes battle Eminem, maybe the Thurston Howe, and dudes from Chicago and stuff like that. So, they always attacking Eminem, because you're white. You know what I mean? You're white. Everything would come back to him being a punk ass white boy at the end of the day. And so that's cool. But It's like, nigga, I've been battling with these white jokes, you know what I mean, for 10 years already. So y'all niggas got to come with something else. And he came and now this is no disrespect because I know these people, but he was like, you looking like the grimy grimace. And I mean, when the crowd heard him call him the grimy grimace, man, I swear to, it was over. This is what I'm trying. It was like, because this is what I mean by like, so it doesn't matter. You got to attack him and make everybody see what you're saying. When that occurs, you know what I mean? Like, either you can come back with the same type of ammunition or you finna take the L and the loss because he was able to creatively show your flaw better than you were or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the art of war in that sense of the battle. It's wordplay. It's all because like I watched some of those battles, those professional new battles, like the Remy Ma type of atmosphere, and a little bit before that. Yeah, like they it's personal, but then it's not because to me so much of it is pre-written that they just try to apply it to the situation now. You know what I mean? But it's really a general because they could pull that same battle rap out at another time and use it. That's why it's a specific thing that makes it where it changes the dynamics because everybody sees that same element. That's what impacts. You know what I mean? It's like Nas when Nas point out Jay-Z Hawaiian Sophie, everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's everybody like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the unspoken little thing there, you know what I mean? Where that those things boost the artist over the top for sure. So if I'm not answering your question, I don't think that there's ever where it's like it's too far. I think once you step in the ring, you know what I mean. All gloves is off. It's however I come up with the best way to fuck you up. That's my job.
Okay. Perfect. But now, who do you fault if somebody's side takes it personal and then and moves it from the booth to the street? Um, I'm worried that the younger cats may not be able to differentiate. Okay, this is just a record thing. And some of these young kids, you can't do that with them on record like that.
Yeah,
Um,
no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we were dealing with a space of royalty, so there was no backlash danger with it. This couldn't be two 22-year-olds doing this.
right.
That's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like so that's where we're talking about battling. You kind of got to keep battling in a battle arena for those that do that, or yeah, usually they it's like if you just say something about somebody on a record, they're gonna take it personal. So if
Mm-hmm.
you do a whole record or a whole verse about somebody, like of course that's you know what I mean. Like so, like okay, the Chris Brown to Quavo.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's dangerous.
Okay.
That's a different situation. That's
Oh,
dangerous right
okay.
there.
Break it down for me. Why?
Because Chris is already telling them, nigga, I beat your ass. See, that's it changed the whole situation right there. Changed the whole situation.
Okay.
And Chris is really Sue whooping, and Chris is really about that.
Yeah.
So then it changed the whole situation of like, Quavo can't be nowhere Chris is at. Period. Because Chris, if he's off that juice that night,
It's on
he'll
site.
be like, I'm finna go beat this nigga's ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
because he can.
Yeah.
Again, like, I don't care if it's Game and Razkaz. I just seen all kind of problems out here. Man, look. That's what I really say too. That's kind of the number one thing in stepping in that battle, unless it's royalty type of thing. Like a Drake and Kendrick, Jay-Z, Nas, where the competition is equal competition. And this is just a music competition. This is a competition about being the dopest MC. And that was kind of with KRS, even though KRS was talking a lot of shit, but that was really more some MC shit. You know what I mean? Like more so than he was really trying to kick up some street problems with Shan. He was just trying to shut down, your rap perspective. Your rap perspective is trash. Mm-hmm. He was talking about Marley. He talked about all them niggas.
Yeah,
you niggas suck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like So all of them, the Juice Crew and all of them could take it personal, and the whole thing, but at the end of the day, it was really just about him and Shan going back and forth and who could make the best record. And Shan could never make records as good as KRS One. Period.
Okay, let's go back to your stomping grounds. Let's go West Coast hip hop. West Coast hip hop beefs. Why is it so much more dangerous than, let's say, East Coast beef, down south beef? The closest dangerous beef I can mention that's even anything close to Cali would be Florida. What what
Okay.
what makes West Coast hip hop beef just like just go so left?
It's again the culture is rooted in gangbanging.
It's the gang. Okay, all right.
So the gangbang activity is number one. That's where again, that's what I'm saying. When you step into that square circle on it, like okay, let me bring up a Draco the Ruler. You know what I mean? Draco the Ruler disses an entire city here in Los Angeles. He disses Inglewood.
I remember.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a song called Ingleweird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he had a whole city that hated him, an entire city, with however many blood sets it is. You know what I mean? In Inglewood, whether it was you know what I mean, the homies from the block or around the way, it don't matter. The entire hood was like, fuck you. And so to do that is, almost self-suicide because you don't know where it's coming from. Because you just totally, crossed out a whole hood, you know what I mean? Or a whole community. And that's, that's, man, it's not gonna happen. So that's what I'm saying. It's been going on, you know, so many LA ones or West Coast ones happen that don't necessarily hit the national media or news attention so much like that, but we feel it here in that way for sure, where it's like, man, you know what I mean? Like knowing the shit was said or bam bam, and then, it turns into some other shit, you know what I mean? Like real quick. So yeah, that's why I say here in LA, if you're gonna wear that jacket, you know what comes with it.
Okay. You respectfully, you are an OG. You're an elder. Did you ever think, or do you still think there will ever be a time when LA music will not have the gang culture ingratiated into it or woven into it? To some, would you like to be like, before I close my eyes, I want to see this shit not be in the music?
LA is changing so much and has changed so much demographically. Um, Musically, it technically won't even be the same in 5 years.
Can you speak to that, please?
Again, people get mad at me and everything, but I always say, if you went to a Laker parade in the '80s, you didn't see many Mexicans.
Oh shit! Right, right.
So, like with Magic Johnson and Showtime Lakers, you didn't see a lot of Mexicans. I'm not saying it was none.
Right,
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like it was. So we're now, that's the predominant of everything, and so it has changed every area, every neighborhood, you know what I mean. It has impacted it in such a way that again, it's not the same place, and so yeah, so that's what I said, and that's happening in so many places, but definitely here in Los Angeles, it has really just unearthed what was. There is no black community, and so which there was once upon a time. You got black mayors, all that kind of stuff, black police chiefs, all that kind of stuff. We had, you know what I mean. That was an error. That error, most people are still tied to it, but it no longer exists. You understand what I mean? Like demographically, it doesn't exist. Demographic. At one time, we were the stronghold. We were in all these our neighborhood schools and the whole situation. Now, if you go to Dorsey, you go to Crenshaw, you go to all the neighborhood schools, they're all Mexican, predominantly.
How will that impact LA hip hop in your eyes?
Yeah, no. Again, it makes it where again. Yeah, I like to tell. Okay, this trans, a different aspect from a hip hop perspective. See, LA has hip hop, but like I said, when I mentioned like Far Sides and the Razzcast, LA has hip hop too. And but let me say this in the realest way: the bitches don't come out for the hip hop shows. The bitches only come out to the high profile shows. So it's why the hip hop community could never really graduate over. That's why they always call it the underground or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the Qualies and the Most Defs and stuff like that, they would, be associated with the Project Blow guys and stuff back in the day. But again, it wasn't the high profile atmospheres to be in, so you're not getting high profile bitches. And if you're not getting high profile bitches, then your situation is not popping. Period. And so for LA hip hop and LA rap period, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why certain artists blow, is because they're tied to certain things that allow the high profile elements to come out. But if you're not tied to that, it's very difficult to pierce the ceiling here in Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, here's where my ignorance comes in. Now, I frequent LA, but I would never disrespect LA and say, man, no, I'm Central Valley, goddammit, where the agriculture. Okay, I'm okay with that. But
okay.
With what you just said, if they're not able to pierce the upper echelon, upper ceilings, would the Mexicans be able to do that with hip hop? If everything is already with them anyway.
Like, what you got? The fat Mexican out of Texas. I forgot his name or whatever. OT Mexican or something like that.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so he got a buzz. You know what I mean? A couple years ago, there was this other Mexican. He made this record called "A Day Without a Mexican." I can't remember his name. He lived in Atlanta, but he's from LA.
Okay.
And that's not how I can rock in LA. You know what I mean? The protocols for hip hop don't rock like that. Even if you take it back to Pop Locking, Pop and Taco was the shit. You know what I mean? He was Mexican, but he wasn't fading Shabadoo though. You know what I mean? Like, from the full on, but Pop and Taco was in the Climax video. You know what I mean? The men
that's
all
right.
balls. And you know
that's
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you gotta understand. That's Mexican. You know what I'm saying? On an R&B all black girl song. You know what I mean? But he was so entrenched into the culture. You know what I mean? That we all knew Pop and Taco. You know what I mean? So a Mexican can be dope in the culture, but they can't keep the culture alive as a whole. It requires us to keep the culture alive. Period.
Okay.
And so, not saying like they can't participate, not saying that they, can't add to it or anything. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, but hip hop without us, there is not. It doesn't do. You know what I mean? It won't move the same.
Okay, if you can quantify that, how does it not function without us?
The creative element of hip hop, it's all creativity and it's all new energy, and so whether it was the first nigga picking up a mic at a party, whether it was the first nigga doing footwork, you know what I mean, and going to the ground, this is all this is like what you call Charlie Parker on the horn. You know what I mean? That's what hip hop is. Hip hop is, it's like with Freestyle Fellowship. It's improvisational initially. Then it becomes something that we all emulate and put in our own spin on. You know what I mean? But it usually comes from an improvisation of spirited energy, and we are that it's our energy that it comes from in that sense. So it's hard. You can't replicate our energy or our creativity. That it's something unique to the entire planet. And so that's why hip hop is something unique to the entire planet, because it's not an African thing. It's the American male's thing. You know what I mean? Really, the Black American man's thing, or the Indigenous American, whatever you want to call them. But it's our expression. And so that's why everyone can only emulate it, but never really usurp us in the space, because a month or two later, there'll be another young kid from a hood somewhere with a twist on how he's saying something, how he rocking
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that rocks the whole thing out of the way. Where it's like, yeah, that's that swag right there. Make us all do a U-turn and be going in a different direction. You know what I mean? And the rest of the world can't do that. They can only kind of learn from that energy. And so that's what I mean by yeah, this is not to denigrate anyone else or anything, but this is one of the most unique expressions that has ever been in, you know what I mean, that has come to, when I say unique, because it has elements, whether it's the dance, whether it's the rap, whether it's the style of dress, whether it's, you know what I mean, there's so many, these 4 or 5 elements of hip hop, with graffiti, the whole situation, the other, you don't go to classical music and be like, where the tags at? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the music, it was just the music. There wasn't these other elements to it that made it where, you know what I mean, you could express that same energy in a different way. You know what I mean? Like, that's why hip hop is one of the most, you know, unique things ever created, for
It's
sure.
funny you said that, because I think 2 weeks ago I was down there by the crypto arena, and I went to the soul food place. I forget the name of the restaurant. And there's this building right across the street from it that's abandoned, and it's been tagged up. It's like half the construction's not even finished on this damn building. Right?
Crypto arena, you mean downtown?
Yeah. Where, you know, with
it was near it was near like the little rock and roll little restaurant downstairs or whatever, or by the bowling alley.
You know what? So it's the crypto arena, and oh shit, bro. I just remember I remember the soul food spot, right? And then I just remember looking across the street at from the corner. There's this big ass commercial building, and it's been gutted, and I just saw nothing but graffiti tags on every fucking floor. And I'm looking at this like, who the hell has time to scale? I mean, we're talking 20 to 30 story building, tagged every level, tagged.
Let me give you a different story about that kind of shit. In the Bay Area, I go to the Bay Area quite a bit, and I love the Bay Area. So my big brother named Merle in Oakland, he and I are driving around, and we get near Jack London Square, but like a little bit, I'm just say west of Jack London Square, it's all like commercial buildings and banking and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at the corner and I'm looking at the buildings, and like if you go downtown LA, there's no graffiti on any of the banking buildings or anything, or any of like in the business district. They don't let a graffiti stay there. They're gonna get that shit off of me
ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Oakland, no, they leave all of it there because that's what I said. Wait a minute. I was like, they don't come out, they don't send the people out and clean that shit up. He said, why? They just gonna put it back the next day. That's Oakland. So they don't even clean it in Oakland. They leave it. Like, okay, I went to the Whole Foods. It was Sprouts or Whole Foods on the same street I'm talking about. So I go down the street and I passed by it the first time because it's boarded up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, they closed the fucking Whole Foods. I'm like, shit. So I turn around and then I'm looking, then I see somebody come out of it. I'm like, no, it's open. So when I asked my nigga, I said, bro, how come the shit is all boarded up? He's like, they busted glass, you know what I mean, like 10 times. So they're not gonna put no more glass up. It's just wood.
Damn.
So yeah, we talking about seeing the graffiti on all of downtown. Yeah, like I'm saying, our shit is mild compared to certain places. Oakland is way out. And I'd hope on maybe another episode we can engage the Bay Area, because Bay Area rap and their, you know, they totally don't get the credit that they deserve. Like half of Snoop's slang comes from E40 in the Bay, and never got the proper credit for it. You know what I mean? And things, and so. You know, for Shizzle and all that. That's all Bay Area shit. You know what I mean? Like, he got the credit for it, but, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I like to be able to help tell some of those stories, too, because I'm pretty plugged into the Bay with some of the most legendary producers out of the Bay called the Mechanics.
Okay.
And so, you know, so I'm tied into all the artists they've kind of produced over
Just
the
say
years.
you the man. I get it. Just
None of that, none of that, none of that, none of that. You know, I know a person here and there. You know,
okay, okay.
but I love the Bay. The Bay is my second heart, other than L.A. And so, you know, I like to tell their stories too, to try to give them a little love.
That's what's up.
But
Definitely next time. Yeah, my wife listens to
yes,
that
sir.
shit, mob music. I just be like, oh my god, like this.
Mob music. There you
Oh my
go. You know
god,
what I
bro.
mean? For sure, for sure.
I'm
Look,
like, what is this?
Benny the Butcher tapped in with them a couple months ago. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And so, and you know, that's what I'm saying. Snoop Dogg finally did a single with them. You know, after all the years. But I'm just saying, they put out. They've really spawned a lot of I say trends in hip hop that they never got credit for, and so I like to always put a spotlight on the Bay, because without the Bay, you know what I mean, Cali or the West Coast wouldn't be what it is for sure. You know what I mean? They got
So
a lot of flavor.
you
You know what I
stand
mean? A lot
firm
of
in
flavor.
saying that, like you stand firm when if it's West Coast hip hop, it starts with the Bay. Like you will die on that hill. Like
I'm not saying it starts with the Bay, but
okay,
I'm saying without the Bay, we wouldn't be shit.
really interesting. I want
Without
to
the
say
Bay,
that. I want to say that. Well, I want to say the Bay, but go ahead, finish your point. Yeah.
yeah. No, just saying though, because it's too much of. They got too much of their own thing.
Yeah.
So like we LA dudes, when it burns all out, you need a place to go to try to get some new energy.
Okay.
It's the Bay. That's what the Bay is for LA. That's a new swag that's close to you but far enough away they can't see you jacked it.
Okay. Does LA give the Bay its flowers?
No, that's the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. They always make treating the Bay like a little brother. You know what I mean? When the Bay is on equal terms. That's what I'm saying. Really, the number one West Coast artist right now is Mozzie.
Yeah.
Now he's not from the Bay because he's from Sacramento, but
Right.
he's from Northern California.
All the
He's not
same.
from Southern
Right.
California.
I look at it as
So
all the same. Yeah.
yeah, but like you know, if you're from the Bay and you tell and you say you're from Sac, they'll be like, "You're not from the Bay.
You're not from the Bay. Exactly.
You're not from the Bay."
Yeah.
You know what I
Sac,
mean?
San Jose, all that shit. They're like, no, you're not.
Right. San Jose, yeah, you got a Bay. You can say the Bay.
Okay.
Sac, you can't say the Bay. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, like knowing the specifics of it. That's why I say their whole culture, their whole get down, their whole slang, that hot man, that's a whole world in itself. And it should be, you know, given its due credit for what it has produced. You know what I mean? Because it's really given us some greatness over the years, for sure.
Okay. When I think independent West Coast hip hop, I think the Bay all day long.
All
So
day.
what is what has stopped them or what's blocking them? I don't know, because it's like it's kind of hard to gatekeep an entire bunch of cities.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good thing. Like the regionality.
Yes.
Oftentimes, their music isn't gonna go much further than Cali and Phoenix, you know, and Vegas,
Right.
because of the tempo or whatever subject matter. You know, it is what it is. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you're like me, trying to be like a historian of the culture perspective, and you study it, you look at it like, you know, it's like the Choctaws is over here and the Yamasee is over there. You know what I mean? Like I look like it's just tribal, but they got their own thing that, like, okay, if you ever been to Oakland in the '90s and you never went to Club Jeffries, you've missed something in life that doesn't exist anymore. That was one of the greatest experiences in humanity, because there's never been such a small club with more ass in it at one time than Jeffries. That's
Okay.
all I can tell you.
Okay.
And so, and every, you know, ball player or anything has stepped in there and had a good time. That's what I'm trying to say. It was a legendary spot. So Oakland and the Bay is just, like I said, it just has its own thing, and it needs to get its due, because it's definitely overlooked greatly. That's all. I just like to give the Bay its props, man. That's
I
all.
definitely want to unpack that with you the next time we talk. Strictly
Yes,
just
sir.
Bay Area rap. Okay. I don't know if we covered this question before, but Ghostface just put out a new album. He's pushing 50. Snoop, East Siders, Dog Pound just put out a new record. Right? They're all pushing 50. My question to you, as an elder OG statesman, historian, reputable, all that good stuff, how old is too old to rap?
Mm, mm, mm. Slide, man, you get me in trouble with so many people right here. Um, I have this conversation because again, some of my friends are older rappers as well, and so um, I had tapped on Ghostface with Juan Epstein a couple days ago, so I
Okay.
was checking that out, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna kind of tap in to see what kind of bars he spit because he's one of the all time dudes on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we didn't get a whole lot of Ghost material through the years. You know what I mean? It's only been certain projects and things where we really, really got Ghost at a high level of Ghost. Like the
Okay.
Cuban Links projects and shit like that. That's where he was. Him back and forth. You get him in his apex type of thing. So, for me, I have interest in hearing if he can still be as effective. You know what I mean? Type of thing. Um, but on the flip side, I'm a West Coast dude, and I saw the Dog Pound song the other day, and I scrolled past it so fast that you know what I mean. It was like I didn't want it on my timeline. You know
Oh
what I
no.
mean? And so yeah, and that's no diss. I seen Trey D in the video. I seen all. You know what I mean? Like I just didn't want to see it. My guy Jelly Roll was in the video.
Yeah.
He looked with my gray hair. He looked older than me, and I was like, "Come on, guys!" Like transitioning to do something else. Like I play college basketball, but I'm okay with coaching. You understand what I'm
That's a
saying?
natural.
Like,
That's a natural transition. Yes.
you understand? So that's what to me is the problem is that the MC doesn't find a way to transition in the sport and
Oh,
still be able to enjoy, you know what I mean,
right.
going to the studio or putting projects together and do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because creating art doesn't have you don't have to be the artist to create art. That's me making mixtapes. I'm not a rapper, but I love to put projects together. So
Mm-hmm.
finding a way to put projects together to me or to be involved in the game doesn't require you to be on the mic. But for many of them, again, that's how they've had success in life. That's how they have notoriety. That's how the things they've accomplished. So a lot of times they just don't want to do anything else. It's the one thing they love doing. So I can't fault anybody for having love and wanting to continue to do it. We have this argument because of rock and roll, because rock and roll is able to age and do tours, you know what I mean, when they're 65 years old. You know what I mean? So hip hop is having this struggle as well because really the apex of our hip hoppers are now 50 years old. And
Right.
so it's like, how do they transition, you know what I mean, going into the fourth quarter of life now, you know what I mean? And so it's hard to be a hip hopper in the fourth quarter because there's really no circuit for you to go out and tour. There's really no, platform or paradigm for you to actually go and make money as an old MC. That's where the problem really lies. And so, because when we see it, we look at, oh, he's still trying to hold on or anything, versus, when if Guns N' Roses or one of those Steven Tyler or one of those kind of dudes, they put out a record and they wanted to go on tour with it, they could still find 20 dates in a year to go and make some money. You know what I mean? Just because they were Steven Tyler. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So go ahead.
So if hip hop fans were more like rock fans, more supportive as they gotten older, we're not having this
We
discussion.
don't have
Right.
that. We do.
Okay.
The old hip hopper does not function. You know what I mean? Like, and there's plenty of them, but there's no collective. Like, okay, let's look at it from R&B tour type of shit. The same church women then seen Frankie Beverly 32 times. You
Yes.
understand what I mean? Back in the day again. I mean, they didn't see Frank do the shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
come up with their drinks and they gonna have a good time every time Frank come out here in this all white with the all
Yeah.
white
With the
hat.
white
You know
cap.
what I mean?
Yes. Yes, sir.
When Frank come out, man. But we don't have that in hip hop. That's what the problem is, because else then those same dudes Okay, like the Far Side, they're out kind of doing a little tour and things of that nature. And I'm was hoping and wishing my Freestyle Fellowship guys could get on a tour and do some things in the same kind of capacity. But there's just really not a lot of venues and platforms that attract the older women and the older men who are going to come out and support it. That's really what the problem is.
Okay, but now let's put on our capitalism hats. The market tells us they don't want that.
That's my point. So that's what I'm saying. Where there's no market for it, but the market has never been created, and so this is where that's what I'm saying. Just as we innovate with AI and things of that nature, it needs to have that kind of thing applied for the senior circuit. And that's what needs to be created. It's called a senior circuit. They tried it here on the West Coast in a small version. They used to have these radio performances shows all the time, and they bring out Mac 10 and all these kind of guys, all the time. Well, people like me don't want to go to those shows
Okay.
because they're like lowrider shows. They're
Okay.
like it's a different.
It's a way different
just
vibe. I get what you're saying.
it's
Yeah.
a way different vibe. You know what I mean? And so we haven't packaged it in a way in which it can still feel like okay. Not last year, 2 years ago on my birthday, I was in the Bay Area and I got to see Rakim live.
Okay.
And so yeah, this was great. It was like August 14th, August 15th in the Bay Area. Boom. Um, great. And so we're all in there turning. It's only about 400 or 500 people in here. Number one, so
Mhm.
it's not a packed house type of thing. But all of us in there are old people, old hip hoppers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got an old hip hop show. We all enjoying it, but again, it's not like going to the club or when the young folks is out in the energy of it, whatever, it still
Yeah.
just didn't have that same feeling. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how to create it. I wish I did. I haven't put a lot of mental time on it, but creating a senior circuit is the only way for older hip hoppers to be able to age into hip hop and still uh, make a living out of it. There has to be a senior circuit created, and there just isn't one at this point.
Okay. So if you're able to do it, or if it did exist, would that kill the question? Too old to rap. Would that take care of that? Would that shut me up and others
Yes,
that be
yes, because then they're going up. They're not trying to go up and make a new song to pierce the new generation.
right?
They're going to go play some classics to get a check. You understand? And they're playing those classics for a classic audience. So it's like Sirius. You know how you could go, you can pick what kind of hip hop you like on
Yeah.
Sirius. You
Yep.
know what I mean? And so that's what it's supposed to be, where it's supposed to be a lane for the senior circuit to even be able to perform and make money and do those kind of things. But that part has never been created for hip hop. It's only been, basically 35 and under. I know some 40-year-olds, but it's really 35 and under.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Rakim is one of the few MCs I would go see. I don't give a fuck how old he gets. Like he's just for me.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm like,
I
oh
was
shit.
excited.
You know?
Like I get to go see the God MC. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about? This is my birthday present?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? The fuck you talking about? We there. You know what I mean? Instantly. You know what I mean? There's no other plans today. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. But and that kind of sentiment that we both share, that's what I'm saying. Regionally, there would be that sentiment all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Regionally. So certain artists in each region would still get that same thing. And then you could bring in a high name older artist to try to be where they were the attraction for that show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have hits with multiple artists that they could bring out and make a great show of. You know what I mean? Where, like I said, there's a way to do it, but it hasn't been done. That's for sure.
Let me ask you, the transition part. Where would you advise older artists to transition into? What factors of music and hip hop where they can still be relevant and still have their input, but just not on the microphone?
I'm gonna tell you what to me, it's why I'm a Kendrick stan or anything, or why I'm the type of dude I am. They phase jazz out of hip hop, and phasing jazz out of hip hop really took a genre out that brought the more mature crowd to hip hop because you know even the same. That's what I mean. Like, okay, when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, everyone was like, "Yeah, that's an album I clean my house to." You know what I mean? Because it wasn't it wasn't a turn up album or something. No, it's one of my. I love To Pimp Butterfly. Don't you know what I mean? Like, if these walls could talk, you know what I mean? Like all those, We Gonna Be All Right, all those records. I love all those fucking records. But
Yeah.
again, for the for the popular crowd, it was like, yeah, it was mid for turn up, or whatever
Mm-hmm.
for them, and so I understood it, but it was heavy. It was so jazzed influenced. You understand? So you had to have a different, you know, type of perspective to even digest it fully, because it wasn't for the club. It wasn't for it. It was really audio music. It was listening. You know what I mean? Like something to digest more so than to react to. You know what I mean? And so just a different vibration. But I think removing jazz out of hip hop has changed. Not saying people don't interject it sometimes, but you had Guru, you had Tribe Called Quest, you had a whole genre, a litany of artists that all had jazz throughout their music in some form or fashion. And not that they couldn't do party music too, because they did, but that vibration has been kind of removed from the culture.
Okay, now when you say removed and phased out, can you specify as to? Are you saying the labels were like, we don't want that shit. No Coltrane and Miles Davis and Charlie Bird Parker, or
No,
did the
no, no.
market? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The labels never dictate shit on that level. The
Okay.
streets dictate everything,
Okay.
and so the streets don't want to hear jazz riffs and shit. You know what I
Okay.
mean? When the production changes. So think about like early 2000s, Bad Boy, Carlos Brody, and those kind of beats and shit. You know what I mean? Like them was some hard ass motherfucking beats. Like,
Man, I ain't
you
heard
know
that
what I
name
mean?
in a
Like
minute. Carlos Brody.
that
God damn. Shit.
come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying that, you know what I mean? I love producers, so I can go forever just talking about producers, man. Like but that's what I'm saying. Like the energy from the 90s and that jazz wave of things, and you got to that early 2000, and then what's the other uh Just Blaze. You get to Just Blaze, Carlos Brody, all that. Like the vibration completely changing
Mhm.
now on how beats are. You know what I mean? The energy of the beats is completely different. And so when you throw jazz on after hearing their intensity, it's like jazz is like paper mache. You know what I mean? It's too soft.
Would you agree that it takes a certain producer to work with a jazz record to infuse jazz into a hip hop record? 'Cause like you said, Just Blaze can do no wrong production wise. Carlos Brody can do no wrong. I think it takes a certain producer to infuse jazz into hip hop and make it sound like this works.
Yeah, no, that like, um, I call it more genres. Okay, let's take it in a different way. Camp Low.
Yeah.
See, Camp. I still listen to Lucini and all that shit to this day. Heavy
Yeah.
rotation,
Yeah.
brother. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because the production quality of, as I'm saying, just because the shit was hot, man. I don't care if you know what I mean, because it was jazz. It's a fly shit. This shit is hot.
Yeah.
Like that's all I care about. Like at the end of the day, like, but I'm just still saying that vibration and that perspective, to me, artistically, it makes it where MC has to kind of be a certain way. Like it requires lyricism. It's hard to be a dumb nigga and rap over some jazz.
Extremely hard to. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Where it's raising the vibration or the frequency a little bit, and I think that part is, you when you get to generations of the Sexy Reds and things like that, we're at a very low vibration at this point, where those they're not engaging it the same way like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
culturally, so production wise, it's just not valued the same. That's all.
Okay. I ain't gonna keep you much longer. Do
No,
the
no, it's all
sexy
love.
Do the Sexy Reds have a place in hip hop, or have the Sexy Reds overextended their stay per se?
Well, they haven't had a long stay. I mean, we talk about a Nicki. Let's take it back to Lil Kim. Lil Kim is the mother of them all in that sense, and so and we if you didn't have that poster on your wall in the '90s,
You
then
missed out.
I don't know.
Yeah,
This
right.
you know,
You missed
nigga,
out.
I don't know. I don't know, my man, my man. Um, so from her to the next generation of a Nicki, you know, I thought even with Safari writing a lot of her raps, I saw her in concert on a live stream 8 9 years ago. Man, that bitch was raw as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, she had me on every line, bar for bar. How she was out there giving it to you. That bitch was right.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. Like
Yeah.
she was, and so, but see, she had taken what the Queen Bee had done. It was like from Dr. J to Michael Jordan. You know what I mean on the female MC level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the next level of ladies have raised the bar. To me, Nicki had raised the bar,
I agree.
and so yeah, I'm not saying they've overstayed their welcome or any of that. It's a free marketplace. You know what I mean? And pussy sell more than anything on this planet. So to you have a way to creatively market pussy. I could never be mad at that. Again, back to Luke. You know what I mean? Throw that dick. Throw that dick. Throw that dick. You know what I mean? Like, man, what you talking about? I take it from 2024 back to 87 real fast, brother. And that's what I'm saying. Because that's hip hop. Like, it's all one thing to me. But that's what I'm saying. Luke was selling sex in the 80s. So, selling ass. If the ladies figure out a way to sell the same ass, I'd never be mad at that hustle. Get your money. You know what I mean? Like, so no. What else you got? Go ahead.
I'm glad you said that. But has hip hop, unfortunately, been more low vibrational than high vibrational?
Oh, 100%. But I keep trying to tell you, we're not, we're, as the older generation, us trying to dictate or trying to, determine how these young people express themselves, that's not going to turn out well for anyone.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so there are expressions that come out that that's what I'm saying, I fucks with. But then there's expressions that come out. I've never listened to a Meg Thee Stallion record in my life. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, she's as popular as anyone, but I've never had an interest to click on a record. And so, but I did want to hear my booty hole brown, my pussy hole pink. I wanted to hear it one time. No, I did, because I wanted to hear how ignorant that was. So you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Where it's low vibrational. It's not something that attracts me in a way of where I could put much energy on it. But when you look at a Krishan or things of that nature, they're all on the same vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the new generation of what level they're kind of on. And that's what I mean by it, is like, you can't ask people that's on the yellow bus to be valedictorian. You know what I mean?
You better not. You better not.
You can't ask them to do that, brother. So you got to accept what they can give you. You know what I mean? And take whatever, the high level that they can give, because it's not going to be what we would expect or look for, you know what I mean, at all.
I'm gonna let you get up out of here, but I want to extend my deepest condolences to you and your family.
Yes, sir. I wanted to let everybody know that knows me in the world. Again, I'm gonna even take you one further. My government name is Tyrone Craig, and my mother, her name was Jewel Lee Craig. She was born on September 25th, 1949, and she passed away May 14th, earlier this week. And she was my heart and soul. And so I love you, Ma. Thank you so much, Sly. I appreciate you, brother.
My man, that is Professor William Blast of the Strong Arm Steady Crew. Sir, you are officially a professor. I don't give a fuck what these.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
yes, sir,
G.
big homie. Thank you, bro.
I hope to do it again, man.
Hey,
So,
definitely want to
I
bring
mean?
you back for part 3, Bay Area hip hop all day. I got you. I'm gonna hit you up for sure.
My guy. Appreciate you, brother. Thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
the love.
Yeah, all day, anytime.
Have a good day.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace. That's the big homie. That's the big homie. Hey, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna come back in 10 minutes with Red Means the Blues. We're gonna talk about this Yasuke, and then I'm gonna follow up later on tonight with Fatal J. We're gonna this Yasuke thing, this Black Samurai. We're gonna get to it. Give me about 10 minutes. Peace.